The Chinese Cultural Revolution has come to America. Between 1966 and 1975, Communist China waged war on its own people. The tactics: public shaming, humiliation, loss of job, status. You were canceled unless you conform to the dominant ideology. It's happening every day now in America, and we are doing it to each other. A woman, Amy Cooper, New Yorker, works in finance, MBA from University of Chicago, walked her dog in the park this weekend in New York and let that dog off the leash, apparently in violation of the rules. A man, Christian Cooper, no relation, was in the park at the same time. He works in communications. He's a graduate of Harvard. This weekend, he was bird watching in the park. They had an encounter. A portion of it was filmed by Mr. Cooper. Now, this is a 1-minute, 9-second video. It has been viewed some 30 million times and counting. It brings to the fore real issues of race, criminal justice, social media, the world we live in, and especially bias. This is bigger than a dog walk or an afternoon of bird watching.
Man threatening my life. Please stop. Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking pictures and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
So let's start with the obvious. Maybe you reacted the same way. The moment she said African American, she was in trouble. By today's standards, you don't do that. And what does that have to do with anything here? It shouldn't have anything to do with anything. And also, we haven't heard him threaten her life, threaten her at all. But there is more to this story, and we will get to that. First, what happens next?
I'm in a ramble, and there is a man, African-American, who has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African-American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
Again, referring to him as an African-American, not supposed to do that these days. Also, the dog doesn't seem very comfortable at that moment. There's more.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park in the ramble. I don't know.
Thank you.
Just hours after this was posted, Amy Cooper's employer, Franklin Templeton, they suspended her. She deleted all of her social media accounts. She abjectly apologized. They took her dog away. She's been canceled, her life ruined. But what about what we can't see on that video? Isn't it possible she was threatened off camera? Maybe that's what made her upset. You'll notice this video starts mid-argument. It's not from the beginning to the end. Now, fortunately, Christian, the birdwatcher who made the video, he posted what he said is a transcript of the back and forth between them. This is what happened, according to him, before he started recording. Me, ma'am, dogs in the ramble have to be on the leash at all times. The sign is right there. Her, the dog runs are closed. He needs his exercise. Me, all you have to do is take him to the other side of the drive, outside the ramble, and you can let him run off leash all you want. Her, it's too dangerous. Me, look, if you're going to do what you want, I'm going to do what I want, but you're not going to like it. Her, what's that? Me, to the dog. Come here, puppy. Her, he won't come to you. Me, we'll see about that. He then writes that he offers the dog biscuits. He does that for any kind of intransigence he sees from dog walkers in the park. He's done it before. A critical part of this story is in that transcript and has been ignored by the New York Times, the Washington Post, and a lot of other people. Right off the guy's Facebook page, again, let's put it up. Me, look, if you're going to do what you want, I'm going to do what I want, but you're not going to like it. Her, what's that? Me, to the dog. Come here, puppy. Now, is that a threat? Does she think it was a threat? Legally, I don't know, but it's definitely creepy. He lures the dog over and says something she won't like is about to happen. I love dogs, but in New York, you ask for permission before you pet someone else's dog. Oh, and on social media, they keep referring to the dog walker as a Karen. Her inner Karen has emerged. Now, that got me thinking, who's Karen? Or what is Karen? Is her name Karen? No, it's something else. Karen is a mocking slang term for an entitled, obnoxious, middle-aged white woman. A lot of people know about this. This is news to me. In other words, it's a racial slur. It's one used against the dog walker by the guy who filmed her. A Karen is not only white, but has white privilege, and that's bad these days. It's being denounced and called out, often by white privileged reporters at places like the New York Times and the Washington Post. Just like in the Cultural Revolution, they denounce others so that they remain safe. And it's kind of ironic here. The woman who's been branded a racist did not actually use a racial epithet, but those pointing the finger at her, they are using hurtful, racist labels. Now, Mr. Cooper, who videoed this, is framing all of this in seismic terms. He told the Washington Post and others that, "I don't think there's an African-American person in America who hasn't experienced something like this at some point. I don't shy away from confronting the scofflaw lawbreaker when I see it. I'm not going to participate in my own dehumanization," he writes. And he also said, "We live in an age of Ahmaud Arbery, where, black men are shot, gunned down because of the presumptions that people make." All right, that sounds very noble, but Mr. Cooper, he tried to feed a stranger's dog as some sort of punishment. He confronts lawbreakers when he sees it, he decides, promising a stranger, a woman especially, alone in the park, that you're going to do something, and they're not going to like it. Whether you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, a statement like that is trouble. But for now, the social media mob has chosen the winner and the loser. This afternoon, Franklin Templeton, Amy Cooper's employer, fired her. It was less than 24 hours after the video was posted. Now, many people tonight are taking great satisfaction in that. I'd recommend that they reevaluate. Before anyone jumps on the next cyberbullying bandwagon, take a moment, because the next time the mob may come for you. An update now on that dog walker versus the bird watcher. The viral video where a woman in a panic kept referring to a man as African American as she claimed her life was being threatened, and she called the cops. As you probably know, the video went viral. She was fired from her job. She was canceled. Now, we pointed out, as very few others did, that the man taking the video, Christian Cooper, had earlier, by his own admission, said to her that he was going to do something and she wouldn't like it because she wouldn't put the dog on the leash. And then he lured that dog over to him with some dog treats he carried around for that very purpose. Okay, that was weird and potentially threatening. I think a bit creepy. So is this. The insinuation made by mainstream media, social media, and by Mr. Cooper himself that by the woman calling the police, she was putting the man's life at risk.
She tried to bring death by cop down on my head.
Death by cop. That the cops were going to show up and just start blasting their guns because Mr. Cooper is black. That's prejudice. Prejudice against the police. And it's really misinformed. Here's a fact about the police department that is not publicized. It is majority minority. More than 50% of the patrol officers are persons of color. That's interesting, isn't it? People have this stereotypical vision of what cops are. Look, I know police misconduct happens, and blacks are at greater risk than whites. But we all take the train, but we still have train derailments. It's complicated, but there's one more thing here. I really wish that these two can ultimately get together. And I want to say this about Miss Cooper's fear. Take a look.
I'm in a ramble, and there is a man, African American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
Okay, she was really caught up and put off by the fact that the guy was black, African American. Now, for a moment, let's take that as it appears, that she has a fear of black men. Where could that have come from? Well, according to massive amounts of academic research, a fear of African American men has been fueled, encouraged, facilitated for decades by Hollywood and the left-leaning news media. Michael Moore, you know that guy, the documentarian? He is as liberal as they come, and he has been complaining about this very issue, the misrepresentation of African American men, for years.
How come whenever I'm out here, though, I turn on the 11 o'clock news and, I hear, tonight in South Central, drive-by shooting, or tonight in South Central, just that or whatever. I mean, they're not making that up, are they?
No, they're not making it up, but they're choosing what they're covering.
Now, the suspect is a black male in his 20s. We are told he has a large afro, sideburns. He was wearing a silver chain at the time.
Police say the suspect is a black man, 6'1", 160 to 180 pounds, about 35 years in age.
The suspect is a black male, aged 16 to 18.
The suspect is African American. Police
say that
black man.
There's a lot I don't agree with Michael Moore about, but sometimes he makes some really interesting and compelling points. Michael Moore, that's Bowling for Columbine. But what makes me sad about this situation between the man and the woman, there might have been room for genuine learning on both sides here. Mr. Cooper seems to think this has been an overreaction. He has expressed sympathy for Ms. Cooper. She has apologized. I hope when everything has calmed down and the mob has moved on, they can meet and have a talk.